go. And if everybody could share this video over on TikTok, that would be great. Hey, everyone, welcome to this conversation. And this conversation is being brought to you as a result of lots of conversations that I've had over the last couple months and really tapping into this theme that people have been dealing with that has been holding them back. Started teaching the ROI Accelerator Challenge. If you haven't signed up for the ROIAcceleratorChallenge.com, I would encourage you to do that because there are amazing things happening over there, and people are breaking down the thresholds that have been holding them back. Some of the stuff I've been putting up on TikTok. I also noticed that my my reels have been taken down from. Oops, whoa, what's going on here? My reels have been taken down from Instagram. So I'm getting more focused on TikTok. I like TikTok a whole lot more. Who likes TikTok better? Can I get some love over here? Right? Just I love the community over there. The people are amazing, a lot more supportive, a lot more engaging. So that's where I'm putting a lot more of my awesome content. Helen, it is always good to see you. If you're not following Helen, you need to be following her. If you're not following me on TikTok, you need to get over to TikTok. Oh, we got somebody that's flipping somebody off. That's nice. Thanks for creating that, man. Do you need some love? Is that what you need? Yeah. So, and then if you're on TikTok and not over join the group over at potentialzonegroup.com, I'd recommend that you do that because we're putting up lots and lots and lots of content over there. So glad that everybody's here because this has been this theme that has been going on a long, long time. And it has motivated lots of different things that I put up over on TikTok. And that has to do around this thing called failure and quitting, right? And so many people, we've all heard quitting 3 feet before gold. Well, if you've read Think and Grow Rich or know anything about the book Think and Grow Rich, there's a story where a guy had a diamond mine or a gold mine, bought all the stuff, bought all the equipment, got a lot of people to invest into his opportunity, and they made lots of money right out of the gate, and they kept going, and then the vein ran dry because they didn't understand how mining gold worked. And then he ended up selling everything, sold it to another guy. That guy went in and hired some people that understood geography, and they were able to find that the vein was just like a foot further from where they were digging, and ended up making millions and millions and millions more dollars. And it's like, that's what I say, is quitting 3 feet before gold. And see, it's really, what is it that causes us to quit? What is it that causes us to quit? Is that, oh, wow, that message deleted. Who did that? That is interesting. Thank you so much, whoever did that. I appreciate that. So what is it? What is it that makes us want to quit, right? Is because of all the things. Oh, then he comes back like that. Appreciate it. So somebody needs some love. Apparently, I'm getting the one. I'm getting called number one. That is so awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that, Dim Blizz. So, what is it that we take on that keeps us from standing in our greatness? What is it that stops us from stepping in our greatness? And is that we carry so much weight of all the things of all the past and the different things that turned out differently than what we had hoped that they would turn out, right? And so then what I want you to think about is, like, we've all heard it, the straw that broke the camel's back, right? Well, think about that. The blade of straw that broke the camel's back. Because we carry so much weight of all the things that have happened in the past. And that very thing impacts our ability to stand into higher vibrations so that we can be more in a creative state and really access things that are deeper, or access things that keeps us in higher vibration. So like one of the things that I've been told many, many, many times is you're strong. And that's not a compliment. That is a warning, right? Because I can carry a lot because that's just the way that life has taught me to be, is just carry a lot. Don't talk about what you're suffering. Don't talk about pain. Don't talk about those things, because sharing your feelings and stuff like that is weak, right? Like being vulnerable is weak. These are all the messages and these are the messages that I've had to transcend over my life, right? So you're carrying all of this stuff. Quitting becomes a more pleasurable option because you're not letting go of the things that have kept you from going where you're at. And I'm a big Formula One fan, and I love Formula One because you crash a car that costs tens and tens and tens of millions of dollars, and you experience like insane amount of G's and then you get into that car and then race it like nothing happened, right? Like that's mastery, right? What if everything that's happening in your life that you've been taking on, because so everything that you take on is a result of the narrative that you created about the experience, right? All the past relationships that didn't work out the way that you had hoped that they worked out, you can look at them like that, or you can look at them through the opportunity that you are actually being trained to prepare you for something greater down the road. You can choose to look at it however you want to do it. And this is the amazing thing about life, is that we have been, the greatest gift that we have been given is choice, which means you get to choose how you're going to show up in this world. You get to choose whether or not you're going to be somebody that's going to inspire other people. You get to be the person that's going to be the model of what it means to transcend things, or you get to choose to be the example of what most people don't want to be, right? This is the wonderful thing of choice. Now, I hear it, people. Jeff, you don't understand. I didn't live. You didn't live my life. I got it. Totally get it. Yep. And you didn't live mine, right? But I do have a very, very intimate relationship with incredible amount of trauma, incredible amount of abuse, incredible amount of very challenging things that I have overcome and transcended and continue to transcend. And because I've been able to do that, I've been able to support a lot of other people that has made amazing things happen. You'll definitely want to go check out the TikTok video that I just posted about supporting a client this last couple days ago in releasing something that she has been carrying all her life. Been carrying it all her life. And because she was carrying this massively impacted her ability to feel like she deserved something, right? And I got an intimate relationship with this because of what had happened with my car accident, right? Like so many of my years of my life, I felt like I didn't deserve to have anything good, because how could I do that when I almost ended my sister's life, right? Like you totaled out my to-be brother-in-law's car, like created all kinds of crap shows in my life, treated people horribly, was full-blown alcoholic, drug addict, drunk, outlaw. Like how could somebody like that end up being in a space where I actually believe like I have something to offer this world? Is because I learned how to transcend it. I learned to embrace the mistakes. I don't even consider them mistakes. I embraced the parts of me that ended up creating destruction and chaos in my life and continue to do so, right? So my question to you, my friend, is what is it that you're hanging on to that's keeping you weighed down, that's not allowing you to create the life that you really want to create? Right? Dimblez, I appreciate the hearts, man. Thank you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you, man. I don't know what gender you are, but I appreciate the hearts. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate the calling me number one. That's awesome. So looking at what are you hanging on to? What is it that's keeping you attached to your past? Because whatever keeping you attached in the past, you are going to. So there's this, and I'm so glad you just said that. Sunlight Sky Dance. I like your perception. Because that's, I was just going to go into this. There's preception, right? Like there's perception, and then there's proception. And proception is what we project out into the future as a result of the things that we have experienced in the past. Right? So what are the things in the past that keep you weighed down from getting into higher vibrations so that you can transcend the life that you want? So if you think about ice, think about the substance of water, right? It has three different states. Well, it has lots of different states, but three main states. It's ice, water, and steam, right? The difference between each of those states is the vibration. It's the density, right? So what if you looked at emotion, trapped emotion, that are frozen in time because you don't want to go back and revisit and change the narrative around what was created in that time? That would be the ice, right? And then the fluidity, right, is obviously the water. And then the steam is just a much higher vibration. This is more of creation, right? And what determines what you want to manifest in your life is a reflection of what you hold on to in your life. What determines the weight, the WAIT of what you want to manifest, is a reflection of the weight of what you carry, the WEIGHT, right? So, and this is the other part, we get addicted to hanging on to this stuff because it keeps confirming. We get this bias of like, okay, I don't deserve to have what it is that I have because I haven't transcended the thing that caused that. And so we just keep recreating these narratives and these confirmations that says, I don't deserve anything, right? Like I just went through this, like me getting this car that I have now today. Some people like see it as just another car. To me, I see it as massive transformation for me, because right after that car accident, I had a Trans Am that I just absolutely loved that car. Like I loved that car and ended up selling it. And when I sold that car, I sold a piece of me. And I had somebody that picked up on that when they were talking about what are the things in your life that just really set your life and your soul on fire. And it was just like, well, when I had my Trans Am, I still have dreams about that Trans Am. But she goes, what is it that you lost? Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Get out of here. Girls 18 online. That is spam. Go away. Man, I need to figure out how to block somebody like that. But anyway, so getting in touch with what are the pieces of your life that you have lost in this journey called your life, right? Because the more you can go back and you can change the narrative about what that happened. And so for me, going back and looking at what was inspiring me back when I owned that Trans Am, it inspired me to get the car that I've had today. Now I've had nice cars and trucks, right? Like but not like this, not like a hot rod, right? And so let me see if I can delete this block user. I like that idea. There. Okay. So it's you being able to find what are the things in your life that set your soul on fire. What sets your soul on fire, right? And then what is it that's keeping you from standing in that again? Right? Like this car sets my soul on fire. Like I know what I can do when I have a day that is just like I just need to get away and I just need to go up in the mountains. I need to go for a drive. That just feeds my soul. How much do you value doing the things that turn your life on, right? Like the things that set your soul on fire, the things that put you into a higher vibration. And the thing that's exciting, like if you haven't signed up for the ROI Accelerator Challenge, friends, you have no idea what you're missing out on. Like that thing, this course that I'm taking people through now, it is my best work by far. And right now there's a waiting list, and I'd encourage you, like this fly is excited about being on it. But you signing up for this and really getting into the R is for remembering. Remembering literally means to rewrite your past, right? Like remember the person who you were, like whether you recognize it or not, you are the one that has narrated your life from conception, well, literally conception to where you're at today. You are the one that has created the narration and the programs and the apps and all the things that you play within yourself. And see, it's failure and success. The common thing of failure and success. Failure and success are the result of the same thing. It's an internal program. It's an internal program that creates failure or success, right? And what it is that you truly desire, if you prioritize that more than anything else, then you're going to prioritize what it is that you want to create, and therefore you're going to be willing to let go of the narratives that have kept you playing at the level that you're playing at. And if you like the level that you're playing at, good for you. Like you do you, right? That's not what this is about, but it's understanding that we were designed to be creators. Like we were designed to create. We were designed, like, why did we have desires? Why do we have passions? Why do we have dreams? These are all parts of us that is calling us forward so that we get to step in and become the being that is required to manifest whatever it is that we want to manifest. That's the R, right? What caused you to suppress it? Samina, thank you for saying that. Yeah, if we're, and this is really good, and I'm glad you said that. If we don't express our truth, if we don't express it, which is our greatest power, our vulnerability is our greatest power. If we don't express it, guess what we do? We suppress it. And then it turns into depression. And then it turns into anxiety. And then it turns into overwhelm. And that's like what I said in the beginning. Like we walk around a couple straw blades short of breaking our back, right? Like the camel, the straw that broke the camel's back. We carry all this weight. Like think about how much straw a camel would have to carry that one more blade of straw would break its back. Like a bunch. Right? But we operate just a couple straws back so that we can function. And at that level of function, what we do is we keep releasing a chemical cocktail that keeps creating the same feeling that we experienced when we were children. We will live out what we believe to be programmed as a child, what we were modeled. We will defend that to the point of putting our life on the line. We will defend those programs with our life. And we don't even know what it is that we're really defending, right? So that's what the remember part is to rewrite your superhuman ability, right? And then the O is all about optimizing every area of your life, every domain of your life, so it's aligned and congruent with it is what you want to create. And then the I is to influence, not only yourself so that you can step into not only influence your ability to put yourself into higher vibrations and creative states, but also being able to influence other people so that you get to understand that you are the miracle. You are the miracle somebody's looking for. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be a hypnotherapist and all the things that I do. That doesn't mean anything. You might be that person that bakes a chocolate cake that is over the top. That is over the top. See, understand, most things are a skill. But see, when we've taken on beliefs that keep us from understanding that, then we will not be able to step into that and understand. Like everything that you're seeing right here, not that I'm anybody, right? But is me developing skills that got me, that I focused on and developed the discipline so that I can get better and better at it. Like one of the skills that I want to do is I want to learn how to leverage time. That's wealth. That is wealth, is knowing how to collapse time, right? But some of the things that obviously came up in doing that was I had to look at my relationship with deservedness. I had to look at my relationship with money. I had to look at my relationship with how I seen myself. See, friend, you're not afraid of what anybody else thinks. You're not afraid, like putting yourself out there at a higher level. You're not afraid of what everybody else thinks. Now, you might think that that's what it is, but what you're afraid of is you're afraid that everybody else is going to talk to you the way you talk to yourself. Like what I just shared there, friends, is a truth bomb that is so powerful, right? Yeah, my inner child was picking my partners. Absolutely. See, because think about harmony, resonance, sympathetic resonance is what they call it. Harmonic resonance, right? You're vibrating, you're an electromagnetic being that's going to vibrate, you vibrate at a certain level. And then what ends up happening is when you have somebody else come into your life at that same resonance, at that same vibration, you get it's chemistry. Okay, that's for sure. But where are you at vibrationally, right? And see, it's not that we are unresourceful. And I'm going to prove this. Like on so many levels. It's not that we are unresourceful. It's that we get into states that make us believe that we are not resourceful, right? And that is what doubt wants us to believe. And shame and doubt are best friends, right? And if if darkness can keep us doubting ourselves, then it doesn't really have to work too hard to keep us playing small, because our doubt and our shame does a really good job of keeping us playing small. Right? And as long as we're hanging on to things in the past that keep us anchored in the past, we're not going to be able to create what we want to create. The number one thing that shuts down creation is self-editing. Yes. Islam, arranged marriage, mental challenges, suppress my passions. I'm free now, figuring them out. Samina, please message me. Like there's so many things. Like I have another client, her name is actually Seema, in an arranged marriage and things like that. See, friends, there's lots of things that have happened that the models are changing. And this is one of the things that I go into extensively in my course, The Potential Code. It's not people that fight, it's levels of understanding that fight, right? And evolution. See, and this is a thing that I think is just absolutely, there's lots of words that come up that how I want to describe that is that as we evolve as a species, right? We have to respect the evolutionary process. We have to respect it. That doesn't mean we have to endorse it. Doesn't mean we have to like it. Doesn't mean we have to align with it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying respect it, right? Because all of that had to happen in order for us to get where we're at. Like all of it had to happen, right? Otherwise we wouldn't evolve, right? And pain is a great catalyst. Pain is a great catalyst to get us to start looking at things differently than how we are the current status quo, right? Like you look at, like they say the greatest generation was the ones that went to Vietnam and stuff like that, World War II and things like that. Okay, cool. But like what I've seen in my lifetime is pretty amazing, right? Like I have seen, well, I thought I saw him walk on the moon. I still don't know, right? But like the technology that has advanced in my lifetime has been insane. It's been insane, right? Like just a smartphone. Like I'm looking at my smartphone. Like I'm able to broadcast a video and an audio worldwide from the comfort of my home. right? I'm able to create a studio. I have a full deck studio, just like any other studio that would have a radio broadcasting system or anything like that. I have my podcast. I have ways to touch point all across this world. Like, we live in a time, there are no excuses. There are no excuses, right? Like, anything that you want to create in your life is an opportunity. And so Samina, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Like, trust me, my last name, I've had it butchered so many times. So I have a lot of, I want to make sure that I communicate it correctly. And yes, freedom. There's a great song that was with the movie, I think it's Django, and it's called Freedom. Freedom is the result of internal vigilance, right? And if we do not take responsibility for our lives, if we don't take responsibility for our inner world, then what we do is we surrender our liberty to somebody else that's willingly doing that. As long as we keep demanding that everything on the outside of us changes, that on the outside of us controls us, right? And this is the area that we want. Like, big government is terrifying. And this is what's happening more and more and more. And if you really understood the lengths that people are willing to go to get you to stay asleep, my friends, you would be doing every single thing you could to start getting in touch with your awareness. Your awareness is your superpower. You're not your thoughts. You're not your feelings. You're not your body. You are your awareness. And so you would be doing every single. Now, when I say doing every single thing possible, is that people, I want to say this with this, is if we keep studying the same thing that defends our current belief, it becomes incestuous. And so when it becomes incestuous, what that means is that it starts breaking down the functionality, right? And in order for us to expand, we have to start educating ourselves in ways like I talked about last time. Don't do the Hitler thing. There's, I know this is probably going to rub some people, and intentionally I want it to rub people, is that this fly like really likes me, is really getting in touch with putting ourselves in environments that support what we want to create. Okay? Don't use the Hitler method. There's some of you that are more like Hitler than what you care to imagine. Let me explain. Hitler wanted to be an artist. Okay? He got rejected from art school. So he's wounded, got rejected, and then he went on a tyrant, right? And ended up becoming the leader of Germany. Man, this fly has identity issues. Like, he wants to be I don't know if it's a he, but wants to be a part of the show. But what he ended up doing is creating one of the world's largest art collections ever in history, like exponentially more than anything else, to the point like there's all kinds of amazing art pieces that they have not yet found again that Germany seized, right? But see, the greatest thing that Hitler did was also, well, is what was his demise. His demise is a great tool for us all to remember. Hitler would execute anybody that brought him negative news. Hitler would execute anybody that brought him negative news. Think about that. Because he was so insecure, he had such abandonment issues that he would execute anybody. Now, thank goodness that happened, because he did that, he wasn't able to see what he really needed to see in order to create what he wanted to create. So how many areas of your life do you not want to look at because of the narrative that you have put on authentic feedback? Right? Like, this is one of the things that I do with my clients. Like, any of my clients will tell you, I give you authentic feedback, right? Because it's mission critical, right? Like, when was the last time you had a conversation with somebody and said, hey, how do I show up in your life? Right? Because again, this is so important, friends. This is part of why people quit. The reason people quit is because of their internal program, because they're not committed to what it is that they really want to create. What they're committed to is the things that have kept them in doubt and kept them in shame and kept them in limitations. They're committed to that and are not able to create this, right? But what happens if we are not clear about what it is that we really want to create, whether it's the most awesome freaking chocolate cake, it doesn't matter what it is, right? If we're not clear, the confusion is where our wounds are going to interpret that confusion. This is what's going to bring up our inadequacies, right? It's the same thing within a relationship. Like, if somebody doesn't call you as often as you would like them to call you, if you're not communicating that to them, and all of a sudden you have these particular rules about how many times a friend's supposed to call you in order to be your best friend, and they don't meet that, the confusion is where all the stuff comes up. right? Yes, Tish, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, and Tish, like, yeah, what happened for Tish has been amazing because feedback is really, really important. But understanding that if you are in a relationship with somebody, you are doing yourself, them, and the relationship a disservice by not communicating what is actually happening inside of you, right? Because it is lack of clarity that breaks down relationships. It just is. It's a lack of clarity that breaks down relationships, right? And so if, like, when somebody says, I respect you, what does that mean? Okay, what does that mean to you? And because see, what we do is our arrogance, our ego goes, oh, I know what that means. And then we take that on and we think we know what it means. Just like a president that ran for office that says, change. We need change. And everybody said, yeah, we do. We need change. And I'm going to project onto that statement what I think needs to be changed. And all of you are going to have health insurance. Now, we're not going to tell you that we're going to fine you if you don't have it. But see, what happens is the moment we start making up a story about what somebody makes, now we start getting entangled to that. And then that's what we hang on to. Right? But this is, again, what quitting doesn't want you to know. Is that we start taking on all of this stuff and it keeps us in unresourceful states long enough that staying committed to it is more painful than quitting. Okay, so what are you hanging on to? What are you hanging on to that you need to let go of? What are you doing about it? How much are you willing to suffer before you step in your greatness? Like, think about how much of your life have you spent your energy, which is used to generate money, which is also energy. How much has your energy been to get by, to survive? Like, if I just make this much money, I'll be okay, right? But who determines that? Who determines how much money you make? Right? What if you started coming up with things that you love doing and started figuring out how to make money with what it is that you love doing? Like, an extra $500 a month for some people changes the quality of their life. Like, I can show you how to make an extra $500 easy. Like, that's easy, right? It's just being in the environments where people support you. So that's what I'm saying. If you haven't signed up for the ROI Accelerator Challenge, I mean, I don't mean to say it like this, like I'm saying, but I can't help you unless you invest into supporting yourself and then putting yourself in an environment. Like, the people that are in this are radically not only changing their lives, they're changing other people's lives as a part of the collective community that's in part of the ROI Accelerator group. Okay. So you want to sign up for the ROI Accelerator Challenge because I'm going to teach you how to create wealth in your life, right? The most precious thing, the most priceless commodity we have is time, right? We can't get more time back, but I can show you how to collapse time, right? If you make $25,000 a year, just going super low, if you make $25,000 a year, it will take you 40 years to make $1 million. Okay. You're not a millionaire just because of the length of time it took you to do that. Right. But if I could show you how to do it in possibly 5 years, right? I just bought back 35 years of your life. I'll show you the strategies. I can't get in your head and make you do it, but I'll show you the strategies. Right. And the other thing, the most valuable commodity is your attention. And who is getting your attention? Is it you, or is it the media, or is it social media, TV? What is getting your attention, right? Because I've said this like the last 4 shows. This book right here is where I got introduced to consumer engineers. There are people out there called consumer engineers. Their job is to get your focus, is to create states that you experience so that you suffer. They're going to make you angry. They're going to make you afraid. They're going to make you desperate. They're going to make you feel lack. They're going to make you feel inadequate. So you have to look outside of yourself to overcome the suffering. That's what consumer engineers' jobs are doing, right? I want to empower you. I want to encourage you to take control of your own inner world. Once you take control of your own inner world, you are now the creator of your life, right? So first of all, what is it that you really want to create in your life? What is it that you really want to create in your life? Now, I know this is going to sound hard, but I say this with all the love in the world. My clients, there's a couple words, couple phrases, actually there's 3 phrases that my clients, they can say it to them, but they just over time, they end up learning how to change this. But I do not allow them to say, I don't know. Of course, they can say it, right? But I don't buy into that. The reason we say, I don't know, is so that we don't have to take responsibility. The reason we don't want to take responsibility is because there's times in our lives where we stood up and said, hey, I know, and then we got humiliated. So then we come up with a strategy like, don't ever put yourself out there again. Don't ever know again, because when you know, right? Like, how many of us heard this? If you tell us the truth, we will not punish you. How many of you heard that? Like, I heard that as a child, and yeah, that didn't work out so well when he told them the truth, right? So there's all these strategies that we use. I don't know, I know, and I disagree. Like, those three phases cost you a bunch, because as soon as you say, I know, what you're doing is you are stopping yourself from being in discovery mode, right? And you're taking a little piece of content that somebody said, and what you do is you associate it and go click, I know what they're saying. And you just shut down the discovery process. Same thing as with I disagree. You're not disagreeing with me. You're not disagreeing with me. You're disagreeing. Your interpretation of what I'm saying is disagreeing with me, right? And so again, what we do is if it's uncomfortable, we want to shut down that uncomfortableness as soon as possible. That's why we say I don't know, because if I ask you a question and you don't access the answer immediately, you have to sit in that space long enough to allow the question or the answer to come to you. That's why we say I don't know, because it's uncomfortable. Like, what does it mean to you not to know something? Well, if you've had experiences in the past that you said something and you were wrong, and out of that being wrong, you got humiliated, you don't want to be in that space very long, right? So then we just say, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, you do know. If you just allow yourself long enough, you know how to tap into higher levels of intelligence. And the answer will come to you as long as you allow space for it to come to you. But again, we've come up with all these automatic strategies that shut things down. And then over time, the frustration gets so overwhelming, we quit. We quit. And you deny yourself the greatest opportunity in life. Greatest opportunity for your life is to discover who you really are. Two most important days. I didn't come up with this quote. You probably all have heard it. Two most important days in this world. One when you were born and came into it. And the other one is figuring out the day you figure out why. Why are you here on this earth? Why are you here on this planet? What is your purpose in life? What is your purpose in life? And those are some of the most important questions, and having absolute clarity on what that means. Now, that doesn't mean purpose. That can be a whole other conversation that we can talk about, right? But once you know you are on purpose and you are feeding your mission in this life, then you know that you are making a difference in this world, right? Because it's literally about dying to self. And the self is, you want to die to the lower self. You want to die to the egoic self, the limited, wounded part of you. But how that happens is you transcending it by bringing it in touch with your higher self, which is connected to God and all the other things that end up happening around that, right? So I'm done. I appreciate you all being here. But whatever you do, do not give up on your dream. Do not domesticate your dream. Do not share it with people that don't want you to win. There are people out there that literally don't want to see you win, right? Because that's going to impact their relationship with you, right? Like, you've all experienced it. Like, you've been around people that are jealous, right? Or I've been jealous, been part of my life for sure, right? And when you're in lack mentality and you see something that somebody has more than what you have, it brings up your inadequacies, right? So when you're sharing your dream or your idea to somebody that has a lack mentality, guess what they're going to do? They're going to do everything they can to shut it down, right? That dream was given to you so that you can put it in an environment. Like, look at it as a seed. Like, look at your idea as a seed, right? Where are you planting that seed? Are you planting it in fertile ground that is conducive and optimized for you to give it the nutrients and the love and the support and everything to allow it to germinate long enough? Because that seed has to be in an environment long enough for that seed to die and step into the potentiality of becoming what it was meant to be, right? And if it's not put in that type of environment, it's going to get choked out. It should reflect the potential for you to thrive when somebody else is winning. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, and being in optimized environments, like I said, if you haven't signed up for the ROI Accelerator Challenge, get over there, right? Like a number of people that are on here have gone through it, right? It's on. There's a waiting list now. You don't want to miss what I'm bringing this time. This is going to be way better than it was the first time, right? But you want to be in an environment that is optimized, that will call you forward and bring out your greatness. Yeah, the one closest is trying to sabotage your efforts. See, friends, understand everything as we evolve, right? We don't do a 360, a two-dimensional 360. We spiral up as we evolve, right? And what happens as we evolve, we face one of our biggest fears. Our biggest fear is being separated from our tribe, right? Like back in the Renaissance time, the medieval times, how they tortured people, the capital punishment was exiling them. Like that was more painful than executing them, right? So we have this primal fear inside of us of being separated from our tribe, okay? Excuse me. So does everybody else. So that means that if your vibration is changing and you're wanting to create something more magnificent in your life and you are sharing it with somebody that's in lack mentality, they're going to do everything they can to hold on to you. They're going to want to put it down. We've all heard, well, I don't want to make any assumptions. The story of how you keep a crab. How do you keep a crab? You throw one crab in a bucket, it'll crawl out. How you keep a crab is you put another crab in there. So when the other crab tries to get out, the other crab's going to pull it back down, right? What does vibration mean? Great question. Great question. So we all know. So what if you look at everything is energy, frequency, and vibration? Okay, just putting yourself in that state. Emotion is energy in motion. Okay, so like vibration, right now I am vibrating. I am sending out an audio wave, vibrational wave that is hitting my computer and is coming out in the speaker on your end. That is vibration, right? And you can literally, once you start stepping into this more and more, you can literally feel the vibration of a word, right? Like go look up, what's it called? It's called, it's by Emoto. He did Signs in Water, I think is the name of it, where he actually took water and put intentions into it and then froze it and watched what happened to the frozen, the crystal structure that the water took on when it froze, just from intention, right? So when you start looking at everything as energy, okay, is that now somebody said, positive vibration. Okay. Positive vibration will only get you so far. Right. And what I mean by that is that we have to deal with the things that keep us stuck. We have to deal with that. It doesn't matter. I mean, if you're not willing to look at your shadow, it's going to come up. Like there's nothing in the world that brings up the shadow more than love. Right. And this is going to impact our ability to expand. Right. So it's not about positive thinking. It's about being optimized. Right. Yes. Positive thinking is an aspect of it without a doubt. But if you're putting positive thinking on top of trauma and things that have happened in your past, you're just masking what needs to be dealt with. Right. And so when we have, I don't know how many levels, but basically you have shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride, courage, willingness, reasoning, love, joy, peace. I think that I'm missing a couple in there, but those are basically the different levels of consciousness when we're dealing with stuff. So when you feel sad, it's a lower dense vibration, right? When you feel love, when you feel connected, when you feel joy, right? You feel like you're higher. It's a much higher vibration. Think of the difference between ice, water, and steam is the vibration that it's in, right? Because ice is cold temperature-wise, but steam is a lot higher vibration. Go watch the movie What the Bleep? What the Bleep Do We Know? That movie will blow your mind. You can find it on Gaia. I think I've got a playlist. If you want to message me or something like that, I can get it to you. Or just get into the ROI Accelerator Challenge. Yes, absolutely, it's a choice. Absolutely, it's a choice. But sometimes people don't exercise choice because they don't know what's available, right? Like my parents, they had the same choices available as some of their other parents, but they didn't even know, right? When we are in lower vibrations, our choice goes down just like this, right? Because our world comes into survival, right? When we are in survival, we're not thinking about thriving. But see, when we are raised in a survival environment, we created programs and apps that we want to thrive, but we created survival programs. It's not going to work. We've got to look at how did we create this, and what is it that how do we get them aligned and congruent with what it is that we absolutely want to create, right? So choice absolutely is your greatest power, without a doubt. And that's what I was saying, is with awareness, right? Like stepping into your awareness is understanding your bandwidth of choice opens up immensely as your awareness increases, right? So I appreciate everybody being here. Again, if you haven't signed up for the ROI Accelerator Challenge, friends, it's about investing in you, right? Investing into people that success leaves clues, right? Success leaves clues, and successful people. Like I go through probably 3 to 4 books a week, right? Like I am constantly learning, and the more I learn, the more I know that I don't know, right? It's just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing stuff. But I made a decision over 32 years ago, right? It was January 25th of 1990, and I have not drank a drop of alcohol since then. I have not used any drugs since then. But I made a decision. I want a better quality of life. And since then, that has been what I valued more than anything. What you value is shown up by the decisions you make, right? And every single decision you make is reflecting what you really value, right? And I can look at your life. I can look at your life. I can look at your friends. I can look at your life and tell you where you're going to be 5 years from now, doing the same thing that you're doing right now. Right? I'll tell you where it's going to be, right? By the age we're 35, 95% of our life is automatic, unless we start becoming conscious about our unconscious, right? Which is what my whole mission is. Like, people don't get where I'm at today from where I came from. You just don't, right? Like, I wanted to be dead by the time I was 25 years of age. I literally wanted to be dead by the time I was 25 years of age, right? Thank God, literally thank God, I had a car accident that almost ended my sister's life. That's what was the catalyst that started to get me to wake up a little bit. And it's taken a long, long time, and I still got a long ways to go, right? So it's understanding, what do you really value in your life? What do you value in your life? Leslie, it's good to see you. Glad you're here. Glad you're here, right? What is it that you want to create in your life, right? Because looking at, and think about how many things you do in your daily life that you beat yourself up over. Just think about how often you do that, right? And don't judge it. Just be observant of it. Like, how do you show up in your daily routines, in your daily practices, and how many of those daily practices and routines that you break down or fulfill or don't fulfill or whatever, and they become opportunities to beat yourself up. But see, what you're doing is you are doing to you what was done to you. And because you are doing to you what was done to you, you are staying in the same vibration, which releases the same chemical cocktail that you experienced when it was done to you as a child. And this is familiarity. This is a comfort zone, right? It's like my good old boy Myron says, for some, a known hell is better than an unknown heaven, right? If you want to change your life, then you have to inventory how you show up in life, right? Because opportunity is everywhere. Opportunity is always knocking on the doors. Knock, 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 knock. Hey, I'm here. But if we don't have the bandwidth or awareness, we don't even see it. Like, this is one of the things, like in the last couple of months, it's just been blowing me away. I have made life transforming opportunities for people. And because of where they're at in their life, they don't even see it. They don't even see it. They look at it as a cost rather than an opportunity to invest in something and double down or whatever, right? I don't look at things when it comes to me. I don't look at that as a cost at all. There's no cost at all. I look at this as going, I'm investing in this so that I can expand and become a bigger version of who I am and support my clients and my students. Like, that's how I look at everything, right? But see, what happens is doubt pops up and we go into, I can't afford this. This is too much, right? Here's another thing I'd encourage you to look at. Instead of saying it's too much, start asking, how can I create? How can I create, or what can I create so that I can purchase this? Yes, awesome. Then that's a big old long number. I want to organize a reservation for ones with conservative values to preserve our culture. Okay, what's conservative mean to you, right? Again, how we characterize something, we have to hold it based on how we characterize it, right? And there's no value judgment on what I just said to you, right? Or no judgment on what you said, and that's awesome, right? Um, if these are things that you want to create, then I highly, highly, highly recommend. My greatest suggestion is to get you to invest in the ROI Accelerator Challenge.com. Like this is my greatest work. Like I am actually pulling away from one-on-one coaching to invest all my time into this challenge, because I want to do every single thing I can to support people to accelerate. People don't stay in the learning curve long enough to get it. People don't suck at something long enough to start getting into it so that it starts becoming their new norm, right? Be bad at something long enough so that you can learn to trust yourself to go through the learning curve of whatever it is that you're learning to become the person that you get to be, to manifest what it is that you want to create in your life. Go look at a great guy. His name is Larry Winget. Had a massive construction company. My brother Sammy's in the house, man. Go follow Sammy. Got to go follow Sammy. Amazing guy. He had a big construction company, right? And one day, so he was a subcontractor. And one day he said, you know what? The market crashed. And he went, you know what? I'm going to become a public speaker, motivational speaker. Like a subcontractor into a motivational speaker. And guess what? I think he has seven New York's best-selling books right now, and he's probably written 30 books right now. His name's Larry Winget. Go check out Larry Winget. Guy's amazing. But what he did is he made a decision. Once he made that decision, now he figured out what it is he truly valued in life. He started doing everything he could to develop that skill. Everything I'm doing here, friends, is a skill. Everything I'm doing here is a skill. Yes, it's been fed with a white hot burning desire, like what Napoleon Hill talks about. In fact, I took it out of here. In fact, friends, understand this. Oprah, Lewis Howes, Tim Ferriss, and Napoleon Hill. What do all four of those have in common? What do all four of those people have in common? Let's see if somebody like Tim Ferriss, who wrote Tools of Titan, 4-Hour Work Week, 4-Hour Body, Mentor something. He did another one on that. Tim Ferriss, Lewis Howes, who is the School of Greatness, 2 big New York best-selling books, Oprah Winfrey, and Napoleon Hill. What do those 4 people have in common? What do those 4 people have in common? There's a major clue here. There's a major clue here. Assaulted. Yes, for sure. But what did they assaulted? They all interview people. Napoleon Hill was not rich when he wrote Think and Grow Rich. He was not rich when he wrote that book. He interviewed 16,000 people and wrote that book. He was an investigator. He studied people. He interviewed people. Had a conversation with Andrew Carnegie, right? Wealthiest man in the world at that time. And Andrew Carnegie put him on his 20-year mission and said, I'm just going to support you in getting you in contact with people. What is Oprah? Oprah built in a multi-billion-dollar industry interviewing people. Lewis Howes, School of Greatness, all of his stuff is interviews. Tim Ferriss, all Tools of Titan, that whole book is interview conversations that he had with people. The number one thing that changed, like literally, was a trajectory that created millions and millions, and who knows, eventually it will probably do billions and trillions of dollars over the course of time, right? When I started my podcast. The reason I started my podcast is I wanted to have conversations with interesting people, because my friend circle has went whoop, like I was done having shallow conversations with people. I was done not having stimulating, impacting, synergistic, creative conversations with people. And most people that I was hanging out with just like, dude, you're just crazy. You're weird. Okay, cool. Awesome. Got it. Let me back up. Let me go out in the desert, my desert moments. And then I'm going to create a podcast. Had a number of guests on, had one guest come on. She introduced me to a person, radically changed my life. That one podcast. And when I was having her go on my podcast, she was having an anxiety attack, like a breakdown. This is the first time she'd ever done a live video. And guess what she does today? She teaches people how to show up on podcasts. Amazing, right? This is her whole business and showing you how to be a rock star. But I know how that conversation got started. She introduced me to her trainer. I went and did his name, Joel Bauer. I met Joel Bauer, met amazing people. Dorothy, who I do another product with. She and I have done a number of projects together, met her there. Blima, who I did Mandate with, met him there. Like lots and lots of amazing things happened out of me But here's the thing I want you to get. I created that podcast because I heard a quote by Zig Ziglar many, many, many years ago, and Napoleon Hill talks about it all the time. Like, if you want to get something from the wealthy, then have something of value that will support them. What better way to support somebody than to be able to create a platform that puts their message out there more? Okay. So this is what I want you to look at. And the quote I heard by Napoleon Hill was, you can have everything you want by helping others get what they want. So when you figure out what is it that people want and you provide an opportunity for them, like Lewis Howes, man, look at the conversations he has, right? Like, my dream is to have like Joe Dispenza and Robert Greene and different, like I've had a conversation, and go look at I don't know if I have that one up yet. But Ben Gay III. Ben Gay III is actually in the process of he was the last known person that was friends with Napoleon Hill. I've had Ben Gay III on my show. Okay. So understand this, and this is what I'm teaching in the ROI Accelerator Challenge, is teaching you how to leverage what it is that you do, right? How to make money. And I don't like saying it like that. Money gives you choice. Money gives you opportunity. And money gives you the opportunity to expand, because you're going to get in touch with your level of deservedness. Like, I've been in rooms where guys that make millions of dollars a year just give it away, and they have created millions and millions of dollars out of lack mentality, right? Because it's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. It's not enough. You're never going to have a fulfilled life. You're never going to have a fulfilled life like that, right? So I've been on here 50 minutes. Good Lord. See, this is what you all do to me. This is what you all do to me. And I thank you, and I appreciate all the questions. I love each and every one of you. You're amazing. You're amazing. Sammy, you and I have to do a show. Like, I'm serious. Like, I want to get super intentional about that. In fact, I'll text you tonight. Like, this guy's amazing. He drops truth bombs. Like, go follow Sammy. He's an amazing, amazing guy. The Metal Edge. He's an incredible guy. He's my kind of guy, because we got to speak truth. Darkness does not like truth. We got to put more and more truth out there, right? So that's why I'm here. My mission is to bring light into this world. My dad told me something, and I'll never, ever, ever, ever forgive it. He said, you always want to return something better than when you got it. I want this planet to be a better place than when I got here. That's my mission. I live in California, brother, Central California. You live in, don't tell me, Florida. Like, so many people I've met on TikTok are from Florida. It's like, I've been thinking about seriously moving to Florida. I'm seriously been thinking about going to Florida, because their taxes and cost of, and it's not about the cost of living. It's about where the cost of living goes in this state. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. I love California. Not a big fan of the government. I'm from Florida. Awesome. I noticed this too. Oh, that's right. St. Louis, Missouri. That's right. Been there. Great town. Great, great, great town. All right, everybody. Much love. Move to Florida. I want to. I'm seriously considering it. Yeah. Florida's, I've been thinking about it. So I'll probably end up there a number of times next year. So I appreciate each and every one of you. I want each and every one of you to really just take a moment and understand it's taken billions and billions and billions of years. Well, whatever, to make you. Right? Like, think of all the energy that has had to happen prior to you to create who you are today. Think about everything that's gone into creating you. Think about that. Much love to you too, Sammy, man. I do. I appreciate you, dude, a lot. I really, really do. I love your authentic message. I love it. I love it. I love it. Is think about everything that's gone into invest in who you are. Like, all the generations of people that has gone into creating you. You're amazing. You're amazing. Right? Messages and Water finally came. Thank you. It's called Thank you. It just landed. Messages and Water. Go look it up on YouTube. Right? Somebody asked me about vibration. Go look up Messages and Water. That will be a great distinction for you to really get into what that means vibrationally. So I'm going to run. Love each and every one of you. Appreciate each and every one of you. Be blessed. And as always, live your life like your life depends on it, because it does. This isn't a dress rehearsal. It's not a dress rehearsal. So get out there and make your life the most extraordinary life you possibly can. Much love, my friend.